While some women are lucky enough to sail through the process with no symptoms at all, others will experience a lot of them, including night sweats, hot flushes, declining libido, lack of energy, brain fog, the list goes on. Now, the go-to treatment for the symptoms of menopause has always been HRT, which is a form of hormone therapy. But my next guest, Dr. Marilyn Glenville, believes in a more holistic approach to alleviate symptoms. Rather, in her opinion, women should consider focusing on improving their diets and taking nutritional supplements. I'm pleased to say that Dr. Marilyn Glenville, a leading nutritionist in women's health, joins me in the studio now. Marilyn, thank you so much for coming in to talk to me. So talk to me about how you started. Why did you start to get into sort of treating women's health conditions and problems?
Well, it started a long time. I've been in clinical practice now over 30 years, and I run the Glenville Nutrition Clinics. And I really got into premenstrual symptoms, first of all, where women get that Jekyll and Hyde symptoms about 7 or 10 days before the period actually comes. And oftentimes they might be prescribed antidepressants. And that's when I really looked into the nutritional aspect of the cycle. And that's gone on over the years for not only PMS, but PCOS, fibroids, endometriosis, perimenopause and the menopause. So it's really how do we look at women's health holistically and get those hormones back in balance, no matter what age and stage that woman is in her life.
So was your menopause nice and comfortable and quite easy, or did you go through a lot of the symptoms?
Yeah, it was quite easy, actually. Well, obviously, because I already knew about what to do preparing, I think if a lot of women prepare in that perimenopause stage, where it's more the irritability, tension, maybe some of the brain fog that you mentioned, before the night sweats and the hot flushes hit, then actually the transition through the menopause is much easier. And I had my 70th birthday in August.
70? No!
So I'm really quite away now. But we can live 30 to 50 years past the menopause. So my aim with women is to help them have that quality and quantity of life for as long as possible with that, good memory, good energy, just feeling well in themselves. And that's really what we're aiming for.
Oh, I'm listening to you. She looks fantastic. So there's a series of blood tests that people do. I did some with you, but the vitamin D test you said was quite important. Why is that important to have?
Yeah, well, we've always known it's important in terms of we need good amounts of vitamin D to absorb calcium, and it is a risk around the menopause. 1 in 2 women will get osteoporosis after the age of 50. But it's now this enormous amount of research on vitamin D in terms of type 2 diabetes, cancer, particularly looking at breast cancer, allergies in particular, anti-ageing. So the range of the vitamin D research has really expanded, and our body does not expect us to get much from our food. It's really in that manufacture through our skin, in the exposure to sunlight. So it's not a food source nutrient like most of our other vitamins and minerals are.
So in terms of menopause, then, do you think there's actually a lack of awareness of it? Because nobody really told me about it. I happen to know about it because obviously I'm old now. But, nobody told me when I was 15, 16. So there was no education about it, was there?
No, and we never had the term perimenopause before. That's more of a new terminology. But I think it's really useful because the perimenopause can start in our 40s. Right. So it starts much earlier than a woman might think about. And I think really if we had more education around it, what we should be eating, how we look after ourselves, exercise, that use it or lose it around the menopause, thinking about our brain health, because unfortunately now Alzheimer's is our biggest killer as women. So we really want to think about our brain health and our memory as well as our physical health as well.
And HRT, this is the go-to usually, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. And obviously for me, because I'm a nutritionist, I'm always looking at how do we get through this stage naturally. So I'm taking a different viewpoint on it. I know some women do really well on HRT and they come into the clinic because they want to add the nutrition on top of the HRT. But some women can't take it, history of breast cancer. Some women, such as my choice, was not to take it in the first place and to go through this transition and out the other side. I think my concern at the moment, it's almost that we're medicalising the menopause. And there was a good article in the British Medical Journal just a few months ago about saying that if we medicalise it and it's seen as almost a disease, women are expecting the worst. They're expecting to get negative symptoms around it, and they're suggesting that we need to frame it differently in order for some women to have a positive experience around it.
Well, Marilyn, I travelled to Tunbridge Wells for a consultation with Dr. Glenville following a blood test. Let's see what my results were like. So I'm here to see Dr. Marilyn Glenville. Now, she specialises in menopause. And the thing is, I've been going through some symptoms. I'm sort of the age now, you know. I had my first child at 46. I know it was a mean feat. But, you know, the thing is, I had the night sweats before that. Then they went away. Then I had some moods and things. I mean, I'm quite a moody person anyway, so I couldn't really put it all down to that. Then my teeth started crumbling. I mean, I can't actually tell whether I'm going through the menopause. So I'm here to find out. I've taken some blood tests. I've got to find out whether this is actually perimenopause or whether I'm going through the menopause itself.
Hello, Anna. Lovely to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, do leave your coat there.
Thank you very much.
And then do follow me in.
Thank you, thank you. Obviously, I think this is something that women, and obviously as you, because I know you don't just deal with menopause, but it is something that women should really be doing all the time. Like, I had to have the blood test first of all.
Yeah.
And then that will show you something about the stage of menopause that I'm in.
Yeah.
I took the bloods a couple of days ago. It took 48 hours to get the results. They've come to you.
I've got them.
What did those results
And you also
reveal?
completed a questionnaire for
That's
me,
right.
which was really useful to look at your goals, also what you're eating, stress levels, that sort of thing. So that was useful to get a picture. And you're right, I think all women should have, like you've done, almost an MOT around the menopause, because it is a transition. We're going through this stage and out the other side, and then it's finding out what are our hormones doing at this stage, looking at other things like vitamin D, also thyroid function, and it's just finding out where do we stand, are there things we need to take action with, do we need to add in any extra nutrients, just finding out our health, because we can live now 30 to 50 years past the menopause. So we want to live that.
That's handy.
With a really good quality and quantity of life. So your results are actually really good.
Oh, wow.
Your vitamin D was brilliant, and that's up at 97, and you want to maintain that. We're going to struggle mostly from October to March because of the weather and the darkness and everything, and our body does not expect us to get much from our food. It comes from that manufacture through our skin and the exposure to sunlight. We're not going to be managing that over the winter months, so you need to keep taking it. And I know you mentioned to me that your period stopped about 6 months ago, and we aren't really classified that we're in the postmenopause until we've gone 12 months with no cycle, and then we're actually at that postmenopausal stage. But even your FSH level at the moment is showing that you are in the menopause. It's 74.1, and it's called FSH, it's follicle stimulating hormone, and actually as we go through the menopause, literally we run out of eggs. That's what's happening. So this hormone FSH, which is produced by our pituitary, is stimulating the ovaries to try and produce eggs, but it can't, so it produces more FSH, and that's why this level goes up, and that's what we're seeing in your blood test. So your levels in terms of what's going on with your hormones is exactly where they should be for your age and stage. So yeah, you are definitely way into the menopause. You've done 6 months in, another 6 months, and you can tick that box and you're postmenopausal.
There's no more eggs left in the little packet. They're gone. No more children. Hallelujah. No,
Yeah.
Marilyn, thank you so much. It's been
You're
really
welcome,
good to
and
talk
I'm
to you.
glad you could come in and do these.
Few night sweats and things. If I add it all up, then I realised that I was probably going through something. But I'm sort of on the other side of it. So I think all women should actually go and get this done, find out, you know, where you are, at which stage. So, and especially if you're the partners as well, who are with women who are going through menopause and perimenopause and all those things, just to know how to deal with it. Seriously, I think it should be something that is on the NHS that we get just as a matter of course.